You ever notice how, sometimes, justice doesn't come with flashing lights or gavel bangs? Sometimes it just slips in through the back door, grinning like it owns the place? Well, buckle up, because I'm about to tell you how my family's mountain resort almost got snatched by a woman who wore her HOA president badge like a sheriff's star, all while folks in town swore she was doing it for the good of the community. Spoiler alert, turns out, you can weaponize a clipboard just as easily as a crowbar. It started the day I rolled up Pine Ridge Road in my old Ford pickup, the engine groaning louder than my back. For years away, and I swear, every bend in that road threw a memory straight at my chest. Golden aspen leaves spinning in the October wind. The bridge over Willow Creek. Cabins I could have mapped blindfolded. This town, Pine Ridge, 800 souls and twice as many secrets never changed. Everybody knew everybody's debts, business, and divorces. But Pinehaven, my grandmother's place, once the pride of the lake, now looked like it had lost a bar fight with Father Time. Windows busted out, weeds as tall as me, roof streaked with rust. My plan was simple: pack what I could, snap a few photos for insurance, and finally close the book on my biggest screw-up at 42. Instead, the first thing I see are fresh tire tracks and the kind of cold, legal trouble that makes your stomach drop. Deputy Morrison, old high school buddy, 30 pounds heavier, is waiting for me alongside Rebecca Sterling, the HOA president. You know the type: silver bob cut sharp enough to slice bread, navy blazer, a diamond ring that flashed every time she pointed her clipboard at my face. She tells me straight-faced I am trespassing on my own property, hands me a stack of county forms condemning Pinehaven, gives me 48 hours to get my stuff or face charges. And the anonymous complaint that started all this? Mold, structural damage, emergency hazard to the whole neighborhood. Rebecca grins like she's doing me a favor. She even mentions, in passing, that she once tried to buy Pinehaven from my grandmother, who, by the way, had called her a vulture and told her to take a hike. Now, she claims the only thing standing between me and financial ruin is a generous cash offer from her buyer. 60 grand for property worth 200. Easy. You ever smell a rat that's wearing perfume? Because that's what this was. I wasn't stupid. I started recording everything on my phone, asked for the original inspection report, and combed through every photo, every line of legalese. But Rebecca was prepared. Documents, signatures, county seals, it all looked tight. Until you noticed things like boot prints behind the kitchen, or how the broken glass was swept into neat little piles instead of scattered by wind. Someone had been inside recently, and not just to check the plumbing. So, I called Sarah Goldman, a lawyer with a reputation for going toe-to-toe with City Hall. She warned me, if the condemnation is legit, fighting it'll eat up every dollar I've got, and then some. But something about Rebecca's timing, the way she moved, it all stunk. Especially after I learned from Jerry Wilson and Patricia Brooks, two neighbors who'd sold to the same network of buyers after near-identical inspection nightmares. Courtesy of Rebecca's inspector friend, Davis. Both lost their places for pennies, then watched them flipped for triple the price within weeks. The more Sarah and I dug, the more it looked like a playbook: anonymous complaint, emergency inspection, 48-hour notice, buyer lined up, and boom, another property lands in Rebecca's pocket for cheap. And you'd better believe she had half the town convinced she was saving them from disaster, not creating it. Here's where the twist comes in. See, in Pine Ridge, community isn't just about potlucks and helping shovel each other's driveways, it's also about who controls the story. Rebecca started printing flyers, holding emergency meetings at the community center, stoking fears about Pinehaven being a hazard. I tried to fight back with facts and photos, stood up in front of a room full of retirees and shopkeepers, laid out every rotten trick Rebecca and her inspector pulled. But it didn't land. Folks don't like having their faith in good neighbors challenged. They'd rather believe I was just bitter or trying to cover up my own mistakes. Rebecca was too smoothed, been laying groundwork for years. Her business was wrapped up in LLCs so tight you'd need a chainsaw to cut through. The hardware stores started refusing me service. Coffee shop folks barely met my eye. Rebecca even filed harassment complaints with the county. Flipping the script, and painting me as the bad guy. Every night I'd sleep in my truck outside Pine Haven, freezing my butt off, feeling like the last person in a town that wanted to forget I ever existed. But sometimes, when you've lost everything, you stop caring what people think. Sarah kept pushing me to document, to build a case, to wait for Rebecca to slip up. Tom Rivera, the local paper's editor, started sniffing around after seeing the same pattern in other property sales. The truth started seeping through the cracks. Then, a real break. Tom published a front-page story. Careful. Not an accusation, but a timeline. Just facts, dates, prices, inspections. The same inspector, the same shell companies. And for the first time, the county commissioner actually called me. Said they'd open an official review of all recent condemnation procedures. Rebecca doubled down, hosted her own property owner protection forums, danced around questions about her profit. But you could see the cracks forming. The official county meeting drew a crowd the town hadn't seen in years. I stuck to the facts. Sarah handled the legal jargon. And for once, it wasn't just my word against Rebecca's charm. Even Inspector Davis, looking like he'd swallowed a thumbtack, started hinting at how Rebecca would file complaints with detailed legal language. Always urgent. Always pushing for fast inspections. It wasn't a Hollywood showdown. But justice doesn't always shout. County suspended Pine Haven's condemnation. Brought in a state-certified inspector who said yep. Needs repairs. But no imminent disaster. They reassigned Davis. Set up new oversight procedures. Offered me a settlement for legal fees. And icing on the cake, Rebecca resigned from the HOA and started packing up her business. Turns out, exposure is a pretty good disinfectant. Was it satisfying? Honestly, yeah. Watching Rebecca's empire melt away. Seeing her move her scheme to another town, well, it's not handcuffs, but it's a kind of karma. I reopened Pine Haven as a family retreat. Brought in Jerry to manage maintenance. Patricia to run marketing. Turned it back into a place where folks come for fishing, pancakes, and mountain air, not legal drama. Sure, some folks in town still think I rocked the boat too hard. Others finally admitted they'd always wondered how Rebecca knew so much before properties even hit the market. The lesson? Power protects itself, especially in small towns. People will bend over backwards to keep believing their leaders are on the level, even when the evidence says otherwise. You can't force everyone to see, but you can plant seeds, make it just uncomfortable enough for the next would-be grifter to think twice. 6 months later, Pine Haven's busy. The past is fading, and I'm finally sleeping through the night. Margaret, me grandma, was right all along. Don't let the vultures win. The fight's not always about dollars or deeds, it's about protecting the things that matter. Even if the win is slow and messy, and only half the town ever admits you were right. So, let me ask you, if you were in my shoes, would you be happy with just getting your house back? Or would you want Rebecca in jail? Is losing her reputation enough? Or does justice need to look like revenge? Drop your take in the comments, sir, if you've lived through something like this. Let's hear your story. Because the only way to keep folks honest is to drag these stories into the light. One neighbor at a time.